Deniz was born on August 4, 1984, in Izmir, Turkey. In the first days of her life, she faced the negative side of her family and was placed in a child care institution. Her name and destiny changed when she met the Birkin family, who adopted her at the age of 3 months, and Turkey came to know her as Burin Birkin. Her childhood years were spent happily with her adopted family, and she became a beloved individual in her surroundings. She was diligent and successful in her studies, completing her high school education in the field of hairdressing. Dreaming of becoming a model from a young age, Burin would spend time trying on all her clothes at home in front of the mirror. Her family believed that Burin would outgrow this childhood aspiration as she got older. Burin continued to lead a happy life with her family until she faced the truth. With the support of psychologists, her family decided to disclose to Burin that she was adopted. During a summer vacation in Antalya, they revealed the truth, but things didn't unfold as they had expected. Burin struggled to understand what had happened and reacted strongly against her family, showing resistance. Burin continued to lead a happy life with her family until she faced the truth. However, Burin's inner feelings were not exactly as perceived. After the happy childhood years, Burin, unable to cope with the realities she faced during adolescence, experienced deviations in her life. Burin decided to take charge of her life decisions and move forward on her own. She would not listen to anyone and was determined to pursue her dreams alone. She was going to become a model and a famous personality. The psychological turmoil she experienced during her teenage years had turned her into a rebellious individual, and the chain of mistakes began in her school life. Burin dropped out of school, and on a day when her family was not at home, she gathered all her belongings and left. Life showed its most challenging face on the second day of her departure. While hitchhiking from Bodrum to Izmir, she got into a car that stopped. There were 3 men in the car, and they had given Burin a ride. In the early stages of her life, Burin couldn't fathom how dangerous these people could be. The 3 men in the car were using alcohol during the journey. Burin was attacked by the 3 men and subjected to repeated sexual assault. This horrific experience further worsened her psychological state. Despite her strong desire to return home, she believed she couldn't go back in this compelling situation. During a period when Burin felt compelled to stand alone, cigarettes and alcohol became her closest companions. She spent nights in bars, immersing herself in the nightlife. One day, she stole jewelry from a friend's house she had visited. Police found Burin at one of the places she frequented. Without contesting, Burin admitted her crime in front of the police, resulting in her first official criminal record for theft. The 1-year and 1-month prison sentence imposed by the court was converted into a fine, considering her previous clean record. However, this situation seemed not to deter Burin from committing crimes. She continued her life with a careless attitude. In 2001, she spent a night with a basketball player named Smail Ivak, whom she met at a nightclub in Bekta. Awakening in the middle of the night, Burin took the keys to the basketball player's car and, despite not having a driver's license, stole the vehicle. Shortly thereafter, she had an accident and abandoned the car. Before the accident, the owner had reported the theft to the police. This time, the police apprehended Burin on charges of automobile theft. However, she was released with a fine. After this incident, Burin felt remorse, but people no longer trusted her. To break free from this situation, Burin decided to move from Izmir to Istanbul. However, her lifestyle did not change in Istanbul either. This time, she met someone at a nightclub in Istanbul and spent the night at their place. She had shared everything that happened to her with this person, and his friendly approach had given Burin a sense of trust. However, it was this person who introduced Burin to drugs. Burin was traveling with this person, experiencing the free life she desired. Her childhood dream came back to her, and she set her mind on becoming a model. She applied to a modeling agency and got a positive response. She participated in a photo shoot for a textile company's catalog and earned her first money from this initial job. She used the money to continue her nightlife. After a while, a male actor from the modeling agency contacted Burin. He mentioned the need for a female actor in a movie, and Burin became friends with him. She went to the set, and the filming began. However, there was something she didn't know. The scenes Burin acted in were altered by the editing team and turned into an erotic film. Buren was disappointed once again and faced financial difficulties as she couldn't get paid from the production company. To make money, she took on short-term jobs. During this time, she had a boyfriend named Ya and tried to establish a stable life. When jobs came from the agency, she worked and earned money. She rented a house and created her own routine. However, when she broke up with her boyfriend, Buren, left alone, returned to the nightlife. She met a man named Needham and quickly became his girlfriend. Buren, trusting her boyfriend, shared everything that happened to her. Needham, claiming he could be the solution to her pain, led her into the abyss of drug addiction. Buren quickly became an addict, using drugs and hanging out in bars with Needham. However, when Needham went to prison for drug trafficking, Buren was left alone again. Turning back to her ex-boyfriend Ya, she wanted to break free from the mess she had fallen into. However, the initially promising relationship with Ya did not last long. In 2002, she became the winner of the Ford Model competition in Turkey. Later, she was chosen as the new face at the Ford Model Supermodel of the World competition held in the Dominican Republic, and she signed a contract with Ford's New York agency. While planning to pursue a university education in fashion in the United States, her troubled past caught up with her, with news of theft and erotic films bringing her into the spotlight. Deciding to stay out of the public eye for a while, she reached out to her family during this period and reconciled with them. In 2003, she started spending time with her family, and her life seemed to be returning to normal. However, Buren's troubled past continued to haunt her. She had connections with Needham, who introduced her to drugs, exploiting her until her money ran out. Buren fell into the wrong path again, becoming both unemployed and penniless. Desperate to find money, she adopted an attitude willing to try any means. She met someone named Ada, who was involved in trafficking young girls to wealthy businessmen. Introduced by Ada, a businessman named Endia saw Buren's situation and offered to help. Buren accepted the offer and went to the hospital for treatment. However, not wanting to spend New Year's Eve in the hospital, she left for 2 days with Enda's support and checked into a hotel. But Buren didn't keep her promise to Enda. She left the hotel, and despite Enda's warnings, she spent New Year's Eve at a friend's house, losing Enda's support and ending up alone again. After all the negativity, Buren plunged into a drug crisis, seeking help from a drug dealer named Sabri. Sabri took Buren with him to the house of someone named GICL, where they were using drugs. Buren, after 2 days of using a high dose of drugs, lost her life. Panicking, Sabri wanted to dispose of the body, but GRSCL intervened and wanted to take her to the hospital. However, Sabri did not allow it, and Buren's lifeless body was left in the cemetery, with Sabri fleeing the scene. The truck driver, seeing Buren's lifeless body on the roadside, immediately called the police to report the situation. As a result of the investigation, the police accessed Buren's phone records and the diary in the hotel. Unfortunately, Buren, who lost her life at a young age, left behind a diary with a heartbreaking story. Let's read her diary together. I can't say I have a mother and father in my life. I love them dearly. They are very important to me. But I don't want to involve them in the complexities of my messed up life, because I want them to believe I'm doing well and feel comfortable in their own worlds. Outside of this world, in my world, the only existence, the only source of strength, was my love, Ya, and now he's gone, will never be again, forever. Moreover, last night, since my period was overdue, I bought a test from the pharmacy, did the test, and the result turned out worse than expected. I am pregnant. Damn it, I am working as a model affiliated with the world's biggest agency, preparing to join the ranks of world-famous top models. And where did this baby come from? What month is it? What day is it? I don't know. After years, I've become a filthy heroin addict. Who would want me by their side? When Melik found out about this, she asked me to leave the house, and she's not answering my calls. I'm on the street. It's been 5 years since I ran away from home. I'm going through bad crises. I'm sick. I'll meet with Recep around 5 in the afternoon. Hopefully, he'll help me get through this. For years, my family kept saying, this is your life. Make a decision. Now I'm 20. They're telling me to come back, marry Dennis, and get rid of this mess. It's too late, MOM, Dad. That little happy Burin who loved that life is gone. I have no home. I'm on the street, searching for a place to take a shower every day. I bathe once a week, if I can manage that. Then I've truly become a heroin addict. I've been wanting to get clean for years. I called my family, but all they wanted was for me to marry a guy named Dennis. However, I can't tarnish that guy either, so I'm keeping my distance from him. I have no home, no job, no money, no boyfriend, nothing. I sold all my belongings, even my computer. Only my paintings and clothes are in Burka's storage. Even my best friend Banu doesn't want me. If she doesn't, then it's over. Recently, Taylor called and said he regretted everything at the door. Wanted to come to me. I couldn't tell him to come because I don't have a home. Kavadan still insists on not giving me my passport. I called my MOM, told her I want to return to Izmir, work there, and stay in our house. I told her I'm on the street, but my dad still refuses. Everyone is fasting. Everyone is breaking their fast with their families sometimes, watching commercials. I remember the days we had suhoor with my family. It feels like a punch to my throat. Damn it, I'm getting out of this crappy life. My clothes are a mess. I've been wearing the same clothes for weeks, and I'm ashamed. I don't even go to nightclubs anymore. I've become extremely ugly, skinny. Sometimes I hate myself. I want my MOM to hug her, smell her, touch her. But no, who knows where she is? My God, send someone to me who will love me more than I love myself. Hold my hand and get me out of this mess. I sold everything I had for heroin. Nedim, the one who got me into this mess, is now happier than me, living with his family. If I learned anything from becoming Turkey's first and then the world's third in the Dominican Republic, it's unfair to be subjected to the violence of these disgusting penny-pinching people. Of course, everything is because of that vile woman covered in Kutlu. I will curse her for the rest of my life. God, I am praying on this Ramadan day that everything suddenly turns around, and I rise incredibly. After 20 days, India got me out. Yesterday was the New Year. He dropped me off at MG's house, India, who hospitalized me. Said it's time for me to take care of myself. 7 days after Burin wrote this entry in her diary, her lifeless body was found by the roadside at Kozlu Cemetery. The police quickly continued the investigation by reaching out to India and the agency owner named Kavadan. According to the information received, Burin's phone last signaled from the location of G-Real's house. During that time, GICL, using the alias Mehmet, had called a famous journalist, Sava I, stating that he would reveal everything about the Burin incident. In his statement, he provided Sabri's name among the other individuals involved. The conversations with the journalist unfolded as follows. Sava I, journalist. What was Burin doing in your house? GICL. I didn't know her name or face. 2 old friends of mine from this scene, Sabri and Kerim, brought her. Sabri is a guy distributing drugs on both sides of Istanbul. He has close relationships with models, movie stars, and singers. Kerim knows both this scene and is known in the art world anyway. The girl came, wearing Bermuda shorts and a jersey shirt. She was cold, shivering. I immediately went and gave her my tracksuit. You know that upper tracksuit seen in the corpse photo? It was mine. Sava I, journalist. Did you give her heroin? GICL. No way. That's the house I live in with my MOM. But she wasn't there at the time they came, took out their stuff, and used it. I didn't touch anything because I had quit. Sava I, journalist. What was discussed? What was the conversation? GICL. She kept saying the same thing like a broken record. They didn't give me my house. They didn't give me my car, and so on. Sava I, journalist. When did she get worse? What did you do that night? GICL. We slept in the morning. Those 2 friends left, saying, should the girl sleep here? I said, okay. At one point, she got up. I said I'd give her breakfast, but she refused. She hit the remaining stuff by half. Sava I, journalist. Why didn't you try to stop her, man? GICL. Can you make a substance addict listen? Even if you whip them, they won't stop. Then she hit again, and it was an inevitable end. She fell, collapsed on the couch. I immediately did CPR, and foam started coming out of her mouth like that. Then she died in my hands. I grabbed the phone and called those friends. They came in a panic, Sabri and Karim, and my nephew Brahim. This Brahim is also the cocaine dealer of high society. He supplies drugs to some famous names and even goes backstage. Salvo, I journalist. What happened then? What did you do? GICL. Brahim and Karim ran away immediately. I barely stopped Sabri, and we took her downstairs like a sack of potatoes. Sabri, who got angry at my suggestion to take the girl to the hospital, remembered his deceased friend Selim before and took his girlfriend to the hospital, leaving the kid inside. He said, "If we take Burin to the hospital, they'll give us 10 years. Let's drop her at the soccer field and run away." We told the police who stopped us on the road, "We have a patient in the back seat. Can't you see?" The police cleared the way. We were afraid, so we left her at the cemetery and quickly left from there. Salvo, I journalist. Sorry, but what you did was inhumane. GICL. Whatever you say, you're right, in my opinion. Burin Birkin committed suicide when she injected that last syringe. She knew she would die. When she got a consecutive high dose cleaned at the hospital she went to, the result was inevitable. Oh, by the way, the corpse was found about 700 meters from where we left her, shoeless and without a bag. When I came home, I threw away the towel and tablecloth she used to clean the bleeding from injecting. Then my eyes caught the picture of my 20-year-old daughter standing on the counter. She was the same age as Burin Birkin. I decided to call you and confess everything. As a result of confessions in this interview, the police conducted a comprehensive operation. According to the forensic report, Burin was considered to have committed suicide due to using 2 different illegal substances simultaneously. In the court they were brought to, GICL Bak was sentenced to 16 years and 8 months, and Abidil Karim Bullet was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Sabri Kaban, on the other hand, received a life sentence with aggravated circumstances. The trial at the Istanbul Fifth Heavy Penal Court was attended by the detained defendant GICL Bak. GICL claimed his innocence and requested his release. After the break, the court announced its decision, stating that it was understood that GICL had caused Burin's death by providing her with drugs with possible intent. The court panel, noting that the defendant's action was a crime requiring life imprisonment, sentenced GICL to 20 years in prison, taking into account that he committed this act with possible intent. However, due to GICL's respectful attitude and behavior throughout the trial, the court reduced his sentence to 16 years and 8 months in prison. The court panel, highlighting that Abidil Karim Bullet supplied drugs to Burin, sentenced the defendant to 7 years in prison and a fine equivalent to 12 days, considering the manner of the crime, the severity of the danger, and the consequences. Due to the substance supplied by Abidil Karim being heroin, the court increased his sentence to 10 years in prison. For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.